Imagine a world gripped by fear, where shadows and secrets rule the night. Lit by firelight, where shadows danced with secrets and whispers carried more weight than truth. And shadowed by fear, a fear that gripped communities, turning neighbor against neighbor. In the early modern period, belief in the supernatural shaped every aspect of life. From the smallest daily chore to the grandest political decision, the unseen world held sway. God was credited for good fortune, the devil blamed for disaster. Every unexpected event, every stroke of luck or misfortune was attributed to divine or demonic intervention. Witch hunts emerged from this climate, a dark chapter fueled by paranoia and religious fervor. Formal legal proceedings sanctioned by church and state. These were not back alley brawls, but carefully orchestrated events with devastating consequences. Trials took place everywhere, from city halls to village barns, involving the entire community. No place was immune, no one was safe from suspicion. The accused was often a neighbor, the accusers friends or family. Bonds of kinship and friendship were shattered under the weight of fear and suspicion. Judges were local authorities, and everyone's fate felt intertwined. The decisions made in those courtrooms echoed through the entire community. Witchcraft was seen as a real, tangible threat, not just a figment of imagination, capable of curdling milk, killing livestock, or causing storms. The power attributed to witches was immense and terrifying. Lurid pamphlets and sermons fueled collective anxiety, and misfortune demanded a scapegoat. The printing press spread tales of witchcraft far and wide, amplifying the fear. A single accusation, often sparked by a quarrel or unexplained illness, set the machinery of justice in motion. Once the wheels were turning, it was difficult, if not impossible, to stop them. To be a witness was to stand at the center of this terrifying drama, a pivotal role in a deadly game, holding the power to condemn or save. The weight of that decision, the burden of responsibility, was immense. Who bore witness to these extraordinary events? Who were the individuals who stepped forward or were compelled to offer their accounts? Ordinary people, farmers toiling in their fields, blacksmiths shaping iron with fire and hammer, midwives attending to births, servants working in households, merchants trading goods in the marketplace. In small, close-knit communities where everyone knew everyone else's business, anyone could be called upon to testify, regardless of their social standing. You didn't need status or influence. A farmer's claim of bewitched livestock, a sudden illness plaguing their animals, could be damning evidence in the eyes of the court. Being a witness was rarely voluntary. It wasn't a matter of choice for most, it was a legal and social obligation, a duty to the community and the court. A summons arrived, often unexpectedly, and refusal meant facing the consequences, potential punishment for defying the law. Sometimes the witness was also the accuser, driven by personal conviction or a desire for justice. Other times, just someone with a story to tell, a piece of information, or perhaps harboring a long-standing grudge against the accused. The entire process was undeniably intimidating. A knock at your door in the dead of night, a formal summons delivered by the authorities, and suddenly, without warning, you were thrust into the center of a life-or-death trial, where your words could seal someone's fate. Children, often overlooked in other matters, were frequently key witnesses in these trials, their perceived innocence and naivete believed to offer a clearer window into the supernatural realm. Old disputes that had festered for years, whispered rumors that spread like wildfire, and even seemingly minor arguments could be twisted and manipulated, transformed into damning evidence against the accused. The entire community, from the youngest child to the oldest elder, became a vast pool of potential witnesses, each with their own hidden motives, personal biases, and deep-seated fears that could influence their testimony. The day of the trial began with dread. You dressed plainly, journeyed to the courthouse, and waited in a tense, crowded antechamber. Anxiety built as you overheard rumors and speculations. When called, you stepped into the courtroom, all eyes on you. Swearing an oath on the Bible, you promised to tell the truth, knowing the weight of your words. Your memories were scrutinized, twisted to fit the narrative of witchcraft. Questioning was relentless, designed to extract damning details. After testifying, you returned to the crowd, haunted by your role in the unfolding tragedy. The courtroom was oppressive. Thick air, dim light, and the stench of fear. Magistrates sat elevated, their authority looming over all. The sounds were a cacophony, murmurs, weeping, the scratch of quills and the cries of the accused. Accusers, especially children, performed dramatic fits, fueling hysteria. The crowd was a volatile mix, fearful, curious, and deeply invested. At the center stood the accused, often a marginalized woman, exhausted and broken. She might be chained, her suffering a spectacle for all. The sight of a neighbor so utterly transformed was unforgettable. For witnesses, the sensory overload heightened the emotional stakes of their testimony. Taking the stand in a 17th century witch trial meant stepping into a crucible of intense emotions. It was a moment fraught with peril, where every word held immense weight. Fear was ever present, fear of the court with its stern judges and unwavering authority. The power dynamics were stark, and the consequences of displeasing the court were severe. Fear of the accused, whose very presence radiated an aura of suspicion and dread, and perhaps most significantly, fear of the consequences of your words, knowing that they could seal a person's fate. Some felt a strange excitement, a sense of importance. For many ordinary individuals, this was the most significant moment of their lives, a chance to be heard and to matter. The line between truth and superstition blurred under the immense pressure of the courtroom. Rational thought often succumbed to the prevailing hysteria. Leading questions, suggestive prompts, and a charged atmosphere thick with fear and paranoia could easily make you doubt your own memories, twisting perceptions. Community pressure was immense, a suffocating force. Neighbors and fellow churchgoers urged you, sometimes subtly, sometimes overtly, to secure a conviction. To defend the accused, to offer even a hint of doubt risked being branded a sympathizer, an accomplice, or even a witch yourself, inviting suspicion and ostracism. Most found it safer, more expedient to go along with the prevailing narrative, to confirm the suspicions, regardless of their private doubts or lingering reservations. The emotional toll of participating in such a trial was lasting, a heavy burden that shaped your sense of self, your place in the community, and your understanding of justice. A witness's words were weapons capable of sealing a person's fate. Spectral evidence, dreams and visions was accepted as fact. Testimony, no matter how small, became part of a damning narrative. A conviction almost always meant death. Witnesses had to live with the knowledge that their words led to execution. Sometimes this brought local fame or gratitude, other times resentment and blame. Families could be marked for generations by a single testimony. Defending the accused was dangerous, risking suspicion, legal penalties, and social exile. The power to destroy or save was immense, and it could turn on the witness too. In the witch trial, words were as deadly as any weapon. After the trial, the community was left fractured and scarred. Witnesses returned home changed, their relationships forever altered. Relief or pride might give way to doubt and guilt as time passed. The burden of conscience could haunt a witness for life. They became known for their role, never just another villager again. Old friendships soured, new enmities formed. Being a witness forced people to confront the darkest parts of themselves and their society. In the end, they were not just observers but unwilling authors of a tragic history.